morning, everybody. This is Sis. I wanted to share with you an experience I had just recently that reminded me of why I'm still here and why we all are here at the great ages of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. I wanted to share an experience I had recently. I went to work, had a really lovely work day at the hospital. And at the end of the day, I was just really aware of one of the younger nurses that I really love and admire was just not herself. And so I kind of sought her out and asked her, "Are you all right today?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I'm okay." I said, "You don't look okay. What's going on?" And she said, "My daughter is really getting on me because of the things her dad is telling her." Now, this beautiful young woman is separated, divorced from her ex-husband for obvious reasons, and he is baiting her by going through her daughter. And this is just typical narcissistic behavior. And that's a whole different story I don't want to go into. But what I do want to say is, in that moment, I really felt so much compassion for her, and with so much knowledge that we have over life, we have a lot of answers that they haven't even pondered yet. They don't really have the life experiences that we do that we can share that with them. So anyway, I had her explain a little bit more, and she said that when her daughter comes back from spending time with her ex-husband, she starts talking like her ex-husband does. She tells her, "It's all your fault you're divorced." And you think, oh my God. I was like, oh, so hard for a mom to hear, especially because it isn't true. But also how difficult it is for kids these days to hear stories that are negative and harmful. So I said to her, "What happens when you're around him?" And she says, "I hate myself when I'm around him. I become a little mouse and I can't talk back to him, and he always gets his way. He doesn't care that it affects my lifestyle to change our visitation by a couple of hours or even a day. But if I were to ask him to do that, he wouldn't do it under any circumstances." So obviously she's really intimidated by him, and this is pretty common out there with young women that are in these relationships with narcissistic men who somehow lost their way to being good and loving husbands. Anyway, so I started thinking about my toolbox, and I said, "I have something. Do you want to hear it?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "Before you go to see him, pretend you have a bubble around you, a pink bubble or an orange bubble, whatever color you want it to be. And it's all over you. It just is completely, you're encased in it. And only love can go in and only love can go out." And she's like, "I like that. That sounds pretty cool." So the next thing I told her is, learn certain sayings that will appease him and keep you free of being responsible for his behavior. And those are, "I am sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry you feel that way." It takes it out of your responsibility. You're not guilty of anything. They need to take care of what they feel. And the other one is, "I don't agree." And I know that's the hardest one to say, but sometimes it's the most important one to say. So I went home, and then a couple of days later, I ran into her, and she was all excited. She said, "I was riding my bike to go get my little girl, and I suddenly stopped the bike and said, 'Wait a minute, I got to get my bubble on.'" So she got her bubble on, and she said when she went up there to talk to him, nothing penetrated her bubble. No negative energy at all. So I'm just saying that as we age, we have these little ideas in our heads on how to protect them, these young people, and to help them to learn communication skills, which they may not have learned. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you and love you dearly, and I hope you enjoyed this. Please comment below. Tell me if this rings a bell for you, if it doesn't resonate. just let me know. Love you dearly.